You know what else happens in the messy middle? You build resilience. You find your voice. And you become a leader. Not because you're perfect, but because you keep on showing up even when it felt impossible. So if you're in that stage right now, feeling overwhelmed, doubting everything, this is your sign. You are not stuck. You are just becoming. And becoming takes time. Becoming is painful. Becoming is messy. But it's worth it. Welcome to the Self-Made Pod, the go-to podcast for freelancers, entrepreneurs, and everyone who's ready to stop dreaming and start doing. I'm your host, Coach Darla, and today we're going to talk about something very real, very frustrating, and very common. Feeling stuck. Not moving, not growing, not quitting either, just stuck. You know you're meant for more, right? You have the ideas, the ambition, the drive. Why does it feel like you're just circling on the same spot? And today, I'm going to walk you through 5 reasons why most people feel stuck and how you can break free. These are lessons I learned from real-life moments, not just as a freelancer, but as a woman navigating through life, business, and growth. Let's begin. First reason, and I believe you can relate to this, you are stuck because you are overthinking. Let me take you back to the early days of the Funnels Mastery Academy. I had the idea. I had years of experience, real results, happy clients. I have everything I needed to launch a course that can help freelancers succeed. But I didn't launch. Not because I didn't want to, but because I couldn't stop asking myself, who am I to teach this? What if people don't see me as a credible coach? What if it's not perfect? I spiraled in those questions for a whole year. I kept tweaking the outline, changing the title, questioning every module, even when I already had what I needed in the first place. But here's the truth. I was not lacking anything. I was just overthinking. And you know what? When I finally made a decision to move, when I finally brought in people to help and gave myself a deadline, we finished the entire course in 1 month. And it became one of the best decisions I've made in my entire life. Because that simple course has helped thousands of freelancers globally. But here's the part I really want to say. The first version that I made in 1 month, it was not the final version. And it was never supposed to be. Up to this day, I still record modules. I still improve lessons. I still improve the content as much as I grow. Because building something is not about getting it perfect before you even begin. It's about starting and getting better along the way. And every time I look back, I always wonder, what if I had launched sooner? How many people did I delay helping because I was too deep in my head? You see, most people don't stay stuck because they don't have the tools. They stay stuck because they are trying to make everything perfect before they even take the first step. Overthinking is just fear in disguise. Sometimes you're not actually unsure. You are just scared of the things that could go right. You're not stuck because you're not yet ready. You're stuck because you convince yourself that you need to be perfect before you're allowed to start. But you don't. You just need to move. Even if it's imperfect, even if it's scary, even if your voice shakes. So here's the question I want you to ask yourself right now. Am I not really ready? Or am I just afraid of what's possible if I succeed? Because once you stop overthinking and start moving, you will realize you were never really stuck. You were just standing in your own way. The second thing about being stuck is maybe you're just stuck in the messy middle. Scaling my agency taught me this lesson the hard way. I didn't know what I was signing up for when I started to scale my agency. Honestly, I thought scaling would just mean getting more clients, hiring a few VAs, and earning more. More clients, more income, more freedom. But that wasn't what happened. The moment I transitioned from being a solo freelancer to an agency owner, ang daming nagbago. Suddenly, I was not just designing funnels anymore. I was leading people. People who depended on me, people I needed to train, to guide, and pay on time. People with questions I didn't always have the answers to. I had to learn things I never expected. Communication skills, delegation, conflict resolution, client escalations, operations, team systems, payroll, SOPs, hiring, firing. And you know what? I cried. There were days I felt paralyzed, like, why did I even get myself in this situation in the first place? I questioned everything. Was this the right path? Was I really meant to be a leader? I was even telling myself, mas okay pa nung mag-isa lang ako. At least ako lang yung iniintindi ko. And I remember one week, everything piled up. 2 team members were not delivering. A client was always following up. And I had back-to-back meetings that felt like a whole chaos. I was burnt out and angry and sad at the same time. I felt like I was failing. But you know the truth is, I was just in the middle. That messy, unsexy, uncomfortable middle. And that's what no one tells you. We always romanticize the beginnings and we also glamorize the outcome. I already achieved 6 figures. I have time freedom. But we don't talk about the in-between. Those nights when you question your sanity. The times when you miss your old life because it was safer. The times when you want to burn everything down and just start from scratch. But you know what? Here's what I realized. Every dream has a messy middle. Every transformation has a point where you want to quit. You are not stuck because you're failing. You are not stuck because you are not good enough. You are stuck because you are growing. And growth is chaotic. It's messy. It's disorienting. It strips you out of your comfort and makes you stretch into new shapes you've never been before. But you know what else happens in the messy middle? You build resilience. You find your voice. And you become a leader. Not because you're perfect, but because you keep on showing up even when it felt impossible. So if you're in that stage right now, feeling overwhelmed, doubting everything, this is your sign. You are not stuck. You are just becoming. And becoming takes time. Becoming is painful. Becoming is messy. But it's worth it. So ask yourself, am I really stuck? Or am I just uncomfortable because I'm growing into someone I've never been before? And yes, it's hard. It's uncomfortable. But that doesn't mean you're on the wrong path. It just means that you are in the path where most people quit, but you won't. Because once you just push through this season, if you just hold on through this messy part, kahit gaano pa siya kagulo right now, the clarity, the confidence, the peace that you've been working so hard for, it's not gone. It's just waiting for you on the other side once you've grown enough to carry it. You are just preparing for it. Reason number 3 is maybe you're stuck because you're doing it alone. Let me tell you a story. When I first started freelancing, I had nothing fancy. No expensive laptop, no paid tools, no team. I didn't even have my own office or even a dedicated workspace. Sometimes I work on the dining table once the lunch has finished. Minsan sa kama. Wherever I could open my laptop and connect to the internet, that was my office. But what I did have was the awareness that I could not do it all alone. If I tried to figure everything out by myself, I would waste months or maybe even years. I would get stuck in the trial and error loops, second guess every decision, and eventually baka sumuko ako. So the moment that I closed my first client, I didn't buy anything. I didn't upgrade my phone. I didn't even treat myself to something fancy. I just made sure that I gave money to my family. But you know what I did to the money that was remaining for me? I hired a coach. And people did not understand it. But deep down, I knew I needed someone who already walked the path. Someone who could see what I could not see. Someone who could help me move forward faster. And honestly, that single decision changed everything. Every time I earned more, I always find a way to reinvest in learning. Because I realized early on, the business will only grow as much as I grow. But here's what I noticed. A lot of people don't do that. They try to figure it out all alone. They wait for free YouTube tutorials just to save them. They join every free masterclass but never ask the real questions. They stay quiet in communities thinking that nakakahiya, maliit lang naman ako, or beginner pa lang naman ako. And because of that silence, they stay stuck. I see this all the time. People message me the burnout na sila. But when I ask who's helping them, who they are talking to, and what support system they have, madalas ang sagot, wala po. And that breaks my heart. Because we live in a world that romanticizes the self-made story. But no one tells you that the real self-made people, they ask for help. They join communities. They get mentors. They talk to people who get it. And here's something else I want to say. A lot of us are willing to spend on things that we can show off. New shoes, the latest iPhone, a new bag, a new laptop. Pero when it comes to investing in ourselves, sa skill, sa mindset, sa mentorship, we hesitate. We say, next time na lang kapag nakapag-ipon na ako. But the truth is this. The people who win long-term are the people who do the things most people won't. And one of those things is choosing growth over comfort, choosing learning over image, and choosing support over silence. So if you're feeling stuck right now, maybe it's not because you're doing it wrong. Maybe it's because you are doing it alone. And you don't have to. There are people ahead of you who are willing to help. There are communities willing to support you. You just have to make that first move. Because growth is not about doing more things. It is about doing it with the right people beside you. Reason number 4, you're outgrowing an old identity. Let me tell you something, I never really talked about this way before. There was a time, long before I built Funnels Mastery Academy, long before this podcast, the clients, the community, I held this deep belief that people would always leave me, that I had to be the strong one, that I wasn't meant to be in the front, only behind the scenes, that if I let people get too close, they would eventually see the real me and they would walk away. I don't know exactly when it started. Maybe from past friendships, maybe from family dynamics, or maybe just from growing up with this insecurity na I'm only safe when I'm useful. Not seen, not celebrated, just useful. So even when I was already building something great, even when people started looking up to me, messaging me, telling me that they were inspired by my story, deep inside, I was shrinking. I would downplay my success. I would avoid being too loud online. I would even hold back on increasing my rates. I feel like I didn't deserve that much. Because a part of me was still clinging to that identity of the quiet one, the behind-the-scenes girl, the one who helped others shine, but never herself. And that's when I realized something that I will never forget. You don't just outgrow roles, you outgrow identities. Sometimes being stuck is not because the strategy is wrong. It's not because your offer sucks or you're not just good enough. Sometimes you're stuck because your self-concept has not caught up with the reality of who you are now. Think about it. Maybe you've always been the reliable employee and now you're an entrepreneur. But your mind still thinks in terms of being told what to do, waiting for approval, waiting for permission. Or maybe you're the quiet one and now you're being called to speak up, lead calls, show yourself online. But every time that you do, may boses sa loob mo na nagsasabing, hindi ikaw yan. So, you hesitate, you hide, you shrink, even when your life is already expanding. And it's confusing, right? You feel stuck, but everything around you is moving. People are telling you, ang galing mo, but deep inside, you feel like a fraud. And this is where the internal work becomes non-negotiable. You have to start asking yourself, what version of me am I still trying to be? Because you cannot build a new life with old programming. You cannot lead boldly if you see yourself as someone who needs to play small. You cannot charge more if you think your value depends on how you're being liked. The moment I realized that, everything changed. I gave myself permission to be seen, to lead, to start charging premium rates, and to stop apologizing of wanting more. And slowly, my actions started aligning with my upgraded identity. Now, to be honest, it's not perfect. I still catch myself sometimes. But I've made peace with the fact that growth requires grieving of the old you. And that's okay. So if you're listening to this and you feel like you're hitting a wall, ask yourself, is it really the business that's stuck? Or are you just afraid to let go of who you were used to be? Because once you do, that's when your life starts to match who you've been becoming all along. And reason number 5 is maybe you're not really stuck. You just think you are. Let's talk about that feeling. The heavy, frustrating, confusing feeling. You're lying in bed, you're staring at the ceiling, or even at your laptop screen, and you're thinking, bakit parang wala akong progress? I've said those exact words too for so many times. And there was a time when I kept comparing myself to other freelancers. I would scroll through Facebook and Instagram, seeing people posting their wins. Just closed a 6-figure client, fully booked this month. And I would sit there wondering, pareho naman kaming freelancer. Pareho naman kaming enrolled. And then one day I caught myself. I realized I actually improved so much. I was better at design. I had learned how to communicate better with clients. I was showing up online more consistently. I had sent more proposals that month than the month before. But because I was using someone else's result as my measurement, I couldn't see my own progress. I wasn't really stuck. I was just measuring wrong. And I see this all the time now, especially with students and freelancers at their early stages. They say they feel stuck, but when we dig deeper, they're actually moving forward. They've learned new tools. They've had more discovery calls. They've gained the confidence. They've improved their process. Pero dahil hindi pa sila 6 figures, they think it's not enough. But here's something I'll never forget. Just because you don't see the tree growing doesn't mean the seed is not doing its work. Growth is quiet. It is slow. It's underground. It's invisible, uncomfortable. You plant, you water, and then you wait. You don't dig it up the next day and say, wala hindi pa kasi tumubo palitan ko na lang ng bago. But that's what we do to ourselves. We plant effort, we water it with action. But when results don't show up fast, we quit. We start doubting. We start jumping to something else. And we start asking, maybe I'm not just cut out for this. But here's the truth I want you to hold on to. Maybe you are not stuck. Maybe you are not just giving yourself enough credit. Or maybe you're growing, but in a way you're not measuring. We all grow at different paces, in different directions. Some people grow fast in visibility, others grow first in skill, some grow in confidence, while others grow in clarity. The key is to stop comparing your timeline to theirs. So if you're listening to this right now, and you feel like nothing is happening, ask yourself, where have I already grown in the past 3 months? What am I doing now that I couldn't do before? You might be surprised at how far you've come. You're not behind. You're not broken. You are not stuck. And trust me, the process is working, even when you cannot see it yet. There you have it, the 5 reasons why you feel stuck. But before we end this, I want to say this with love. If you are stuck, it's on you. Because no one else can break the pattern for you. No one else can decide to move. Yes, life can be hard. Yes, your brain will lie to you. Yes, fear will creep in. But guess what? You still get to choose. You can choose to try again. You can choose to ask for help. You can choose to move even if it's scary. Most people stay stuck because they let their thoughts win. They let the doubt win. They let the fear take the driver's seat. But that doesn't have to be you. You are not stuck. You are just deciding not to move. And the good news, you can decide again. If this episode spoke to you, share it with someone who you know is feeling stuck too. You never know. This might be the message they need to hear today. And if you're ready to stop overthinking, start showing up and finally sell your services with confidence, then it's time to join the Sell Your First Funnel Challenge. In just 3 days, I will guide you through, first, packaging your offers so people would really want to buy it, confidently price your services, and you will learn how to build a simple funnel that can turn your leads into paying clients. Yes, even if you have 0 experience, even if you never sold anything before, and even if you're starting from scratch. This is your shortcut to clarity, clients, and consistent income without the burnout. So if you're done guessing and you're ready to finally get your first or your next client, go to the description and click the link below. And don't forget to follow me and subscribe so you never miss an episode packed with real talk and results. Again, this is the Self-Made Pod, and I will catch you in the next episode.